Halloween is right around the corner, and what better way to celebrate than by recommending a good old-fashioned horror comic? Or rather, re-recommend. I'm going to be talking about a book I already recommended to you guys a while back, but I'm doing it again for two reasons. For one, the series ended earlier this year, so now you can go out and read the entire thing without waiting for the next issue to come out every month. And two, the original video I did was from like 100 years ago, and it sucks. And honestly, this book deserves a lot better. It's the horror comic unlike any other. My favorite comic book series, Rachel Rising. Rachel Rising is a 42-issue series written and illustrated by Terry Moore, which began in August of 2011. It tells the story of Rachel Beck, a young woman who wakes up in her own grave after having been murdered the night before. The series begins as a quest to find out who killed her and why, but as time goes on, it becomes about something much bigger. A lot of supernatural elements start to infest the small town of Manson, Wisconsin, and not just in Rachel's resurrection either. Other people start to come back from the dead, others get possessed by demons, animals start acting weird, the list goes on. On her quest, Rachel is joined by a great cast of characters, including her best friend Jet, her aunt Johnny, and Zoe, the homicidal 10-year-old. Now there's a lot more to this book, but I don't want to go into it too much because that would spoil the fun and do a great disservice to the storytelling that's on display here. Rachel Rising is a series filled with holy crap moments in just about every issue, and the way it weaves the mystery of Rachel's death into the larger big picture story is really clever. Nothing is cliche or predictable. Every twist and turn this series makes is genuinely surprising. And the character work here is unmatched. Terry Moore has created one of the greatest cast of characters in all of comics. Even the antagonists you wind up liking. Maybe not the big bad Malice, but characters like Lilith and Zoe, characters who you don't think have redeemable qualities, wind up being some of the most loved in the series. I was always amazed at how this series took a simple murder mystery and turned it into something big and apocalyptic. It took elements from religion and history, things that are really familiar to us, but made it twisted in a way that made us uneasy and ultimately scared. People would often criticize the series for being slow-moving at times, but honestly, I'm kind of glad it was. This is a horror story built on tension and creepiness a lot more than it is on shock value and gore. Throughout the entire series, I never thought that issues were getting boring or dragging. A lot of them were slower than others, sure, but it all felt like it was building towards something, and that the payoff would be really great, and it always was. Now, Rachel Rising was always very well received by critics and fans. Unfortunately, it was never a bestseller. Terry Moore would often talk about how low the sales were, and unfortunately, that would put the book on the edge of cancellation from month to month. Fortunately, it was able to last as long as it did, and Terry Moore didn't have to abruptly end the series. It got to reach a natural conclusion that didn't feel rushed or forced. It felt right. It felt like it ended at just the right moment, and it was very satisfying. Everything he was building throughout all 42 issues reached the natural conclusion that it should have. And now that it's complete, you really do owe it to yourself to check this series out. I promise you, it's unlike anything you're reading right now. Every issue is up on Comixology if you want to get it digitally. Or if you prefer the physical version, it was collected into 7 trays that you can easily get on Amazon or your local comic book shop. Or you can get the Omnibus, one book collecting all 42 issues. You can get it in green, which is a hardcover, or red, which is a soft cover, and a little cheaper. Or maybe you're one of the lucky ones who got the black version. Only 750 of these were made, and I got number 23. God, I sound like an asshole right now. Even came with a nice little picture of Rachel that I still have to hang. It's easy to recommend Marvel and DC stuff. You all know those characters, and those books are readily available pretty much everywhere. And it's getting easier to recommend books by Image and Archie and Boom and Dynamite and Dark Horse and Valiant. Those are getting much more popular at a very fast pace, especially Image. But Rachel Rising wasn't a part of any of these publishers. Terry Moore put this out himself, and he didn't have the big PR budget that any of these bigger labels had, which is unfortunate because it meant that not a lot of people got to know about this series right away. But if you ask me, this book didn't need it. Well, it did, but this is one of the best cases I can think of where the work just speaks for itself. And really, I'm done talking here. Go out and read this series, and when you're done, come back and talk to me down below or anywhere on the internet how much you think this book is great. Or maybe you want to check out some of Terry Moore's other work. Maybe you now want to read Strangers in Paradise as long-running romantic comedy drama. Maybe you want to read Echo as sci-fi epic. Or maybe you want to check out his upcoming series Motor Girl, about a girl and her gorilla who fix UFOs. Yeah, that's the best concept ever. Again, this is Terry Moore, the independent writer-artist, not to be confused with Tony Moore, the guy who created The Walking Dead. Everybody does that. Remember, Rachel Rising is by Terry Moore. Terry. Again, let me know down below or anywhere on the internet. New videos every Tuesday and Wednesday. And of course, Wednesday night, Wulff Den Live, our live YouTube show. Come chat with us, do all that stuff. Or catch it again on Thursday, the archive version on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Also, we have a new shirt. It's a video game reference and it's a limited edition. It's only going to be available for about a month. So click the link in our description below to head to our TeePublic store and check it out. And as always, like if you like, subscribe if you really like, share this video with a friend who wants to read a comic that doesn't involve superheroes. Tell the world about Rachel Rising. Thank you all for watching. I will see you next time. Now, when I say that this is an ongoing, that's kind of a lie. The series ended in 2012 after 16 issues, but in 2013 we got a new ongoing unofficially called The New Ghostbusters. This series featured a new team which was led by Janine Melnitz, while the original team was stuck in an alternate dimension. So in the backup story to Clone Conspiracy 1, we get a second story called The Night I Died, which is all about Gwen Stacy's final moments before she was killed. The twist this time is that everything is from Gwen's perspective, from her kidnapping by Green Goblin all the way up until her death.